Much later in life, there's a reason why we're really busy working. But then, really quick side story. So I just started golfing a few years ago, like Steve, and I used to say all the other bankers in town were golfing, and I was calling on their customers, and I got most of them. So, anyway, so Steve and I were golfing in the seniors golf tour, and we were at Elbow Lake, and Steve introduced me to somebody that was also golfing with us, or was at the event, and it was one of his former employees who just recently retired. And on the way home, Steve started talking about the ESOP. He said, "Say, what do you think the value of?" George just retired, and what do you think the stock is worth? His ESOP stock? And I said, "Boy, I don't know, Steve." And it was like, and this employee wasn't a high-level employee. And it was like 1.2 or 1.5 million, and I go, oh wow, what a story! And Steve was so proud of that, and they are so proud of being an ESOP company. We are now an ESOP company, we're following that Scheel's model. So we also get asked, what are the many things that why our companies are growing? There's 100 that we have, and he's going to say there's 100 they have, and there's too many to really dive in deep. But go for it, Steve.
I really enjoyed my years on the board with Dick, and that's where I really got to know him. I was on the Beltline board for almost 31 years. In fact, I remember sitting at the meeting, and I looked around the table, and the only young person at the table was Mike. So I said, you know what, I'm going to get off the board. And I think my son's a good choice, because union banking's changing, leadership's changing, and you need younger people on that board. So I stepped down, and I guess they selected Steve. I didn't feel what kind of a job he's doing, but
very good job.
I guess he challenges you. It's been fun to watch Beltline grow on the board, and I think it confirmed that we're very, very similar companies. We really care about our people. We really care about our people. We really care about customer service. We're not satisfied. Neither of us are satisfied. I remember I took over the company in basically 1989. Our office was still in Billings, but I ran the company out of Fargo, and we were getting ready to open the Grand Forks store, and my uncle called me and says, "Why in the world would you want another store with all the headaches?" And I said, "Because we're either going to grow, and we're going to get bigger, or we're going to fall behind." And Bell has basically the same philosophy. You're going to get bigger, and you're going to grow. You're going to get better what you do, or you're going to fall behind. And we just opened our newest store in Lincoln, Nebraska, on the 27th of September. And I thought our store in Colorado, we opened a year ago on the September 27th, was beyond anything I could imagine. Yet when I walked in that Lincoln store, the store that our team had put together down there was just walked around in awe of the talent of our people. And I think Dick walks around in awe of the talent of his people as well.
Well, today's day and age, public going companies, or companies going public and being public, you hear about that all the time in the news, but both of our companies are private. We're proudly private. What do you view as the advantage of being a private company in today's business climate versus everything we hear in the news?
Well, it's really fun being a private company. We can make $1 million decision today and move on, not worry about it. We can say, okay, for the next couple of years, we're probably not going to have the growth and profit that we would like to have, but for the long term, this is a better decision. We don't have to report to our stockholders on a quarterly basis. It's fun sometimes to read about these public companies and what their CEOs are saying are their problems, and you know that it's not their problem. We have a number of our competitors in the sporting goods business that are public, and the excuses they give as to why their business isn't good, I'd like to pick up the phone and call them and say, you really weren't telling the truth in that report to analysts. We don't have to manage quarter to quarter. We manage year to year. We can manage 3 years out. That's about as far as we look. And we can make decisions on our own without having to worry about anybody saying, whoa, why are you doing this?
I totally echo what Steve just said. Not having to worry about analysts and next quarter's earnings is huge. We just absolutely focus on, over the years, have focused on growth. We've had to invest in people. That's critical. People are critical in our business as they are for Scheel's, and invest in new locations, invest in people, and sometimes they do not bring any profits to the company. They bring expense to the company starting out, but we don't worry about it. We've always had a goal of record earnings the next year, but that record earnings might have some years was only $1 more than the year before. but then a few years later, it would be way more significant. And so it's a big advantage. We're both very committed to being privately owned for many, many years to come. And that's in order that you would echo what I'm saying there, Steve.
I would, and,
For years to come.
you're probably not gonna tell them about the bet we've had for 10 years.
These guys are a little competitive with each other, just in case.
So I'll just, and so in the banking world, well, our numbers are absolutely transparent because we're FDIC insured and state regulated, so our balance sheet and the income statement are reported on a quarterly basis. Shields is not just a privately owned company, they are a very private company, and if they give anybody in the audience a chance, don't ask them what their gross sales are, their revenues, or their profits, because they will say it's not their
Business is
business.
good.
And so, but we do have a little side bet on growth and earnings, and yes, he does win, and yes, he beats me in golf.
Oh, God.
And I taught him how to play gin rummy, and now he beats me in gin rummy. But when we play bridge, he's always my partner, so then I get to win at something. So.
Took me 40 years to beat him at something, so I don't feel bad for you.
Following along Steve's question, talk a little bit about patience, because there's a lot of young folks in the audience, and these are not overnight success stories. So talk about patient capital and longer term. It has a little bit to do with that private ownership, maybe.
That was from your son.
Yeah, that's
So I partnered with the Snorton family when I came in 1982. They were the major stockholders of it, and sold me 25% of the bank back in 1982. State Bank of Fargo, we had one location. But they really taught me about patient capital, and they were always concerned about, they were never concerned about next month, next quarter's earnings, and was always about, and leaving the capital in the bank, in the company, and they knew that capital was needed, and it is in many businesses. And for a lot of the entrepreneurial people out here, you're gonna have to partner with people and try to find somebody that's patient, that's not doesn't need a profit the next month or the next quarter, or maybe not for many, many years, but just enjoy being a part of the growth of a company, and I've had that privilege with the Snorton family and all of our stockholders.
I think we've been very patient with our business. Someone always asks, how many stores do you have? It isn't about the number of stores that we have, it's the excellence within our stores. And we opened our Grand Forks Shields in 1989, it was 33,000 square feet. Within 1 month, we could see it wasn't big enough, so we opened 40,000 square feet in Sioux Falls, South Dakota in 1991. And within about 1 month, we could see it wasn't big enough, so we opened 50,000 square feet in Clare, Wisconsin. We opened 60,000 square feet in Fargo, North Dakota. You know, the Bell's best building, and within about a year, we could say, well, it's not big enough. And at that time, we were building a new store in Iowa City, Iowa, and it was scheduled to be one level. And the company president, myself, Steve Holbert, and I went down to Minneapolis and looked at a 2-level Italian store, and I remember we were standing on the second level looking down, and Steve said, yeah, we can do this. And I said, yeah, we can do this, and we can do it a lot better than they're doing it, a lot more intense. So went back to the board, and Steve was an architect by trade out of India. Shubey is our company president, and he did a little cardboard cutout, and we showed the board what we'd like to take. We'd like to take the 50,000 square foot store in Iowa City to 2 levels, make 100,000 square feet, and it was halfway under construction in 1997, opened in 1998, and the dean of the business school at the University of Iowa wrote a full-page story with pictures on how a 100,000 square foot store in Iowa City could never survive. And I thought, well, what does he know about our business that I don't know? And, but it opened in 1998, and then about a year was too small. So we built 120,000 square feet in Appleton, Wisconsin, St. Cloud, Minnesota. And then we built 160 and 170,000 square feet in Omaha and Des Moines. And I was making a trip back to Iowa City, so I called the dean of the business school at the University of Iowa. I said, I still have that full-page article from 1997, and I'd like to come and just explain to you why we've been so successful. Why our next store is going to be almost 300,000 square feet in Reno, Nevada. And he said, I'm not interested, I'm retiring. It's good for the students. We've always been patient, and it was December of about 2000. 2004, and I was sitting at my desk, and I got a call from, it said, Gibbons, Nevada. It said, Merry Christmas, Steve.D.Scheel. We don't say Happy Holidays, it's Merry Christmas.
We say Merry Christmas.
It was Governor Gibbons from Nevada, so along with Mayor Gino Martinez of the city of Sparks. He said, we'd like to have you build the shields in Sparks, Nevada. And I said, well, where's Sparks, Nevada? He said, well, it's an affluent suburb of Reno, and we've been studying your business, and we've picked you as the one we'd like to throw a lot of money at to build a store in the tax that we really have no interest in Nevada. He said, we have an open checkbook. So I said, come to Fargo and talk to us about it. So they brought their team from Reno up, and talk about patience. We negotiated for a couple of years, and the store opened on September 26th of 2008. The worst time you could possibly open the United States, and the worst location to probably open the United States. Everything had just blown up in the United States. Nevada was the worst. Sales are below projections. Costs to build a store were well above projections, and even though the state of Nevada helped us out, thank goodness to Bell Bank, or State Bank at the time, and Bankers Trust in Des Moines. Other bankers were fleeing us, they stuck with us. And now when those other bankers call, it's just fun to say, I tell you, remember 2008? Get your bank loan somewhere else. I said, well, we're still getting our bank loan somewhere else. So we did patient through the process, one store at a time, world class, better than the last. Patient with our people. I think there's a lot of pressure working at Shields. We expect an awful lot of our people, but we have fun at the business, and they perform. Patience with mistakes. We always say, don't be worried about making mistakes. If I have to keep pushing you along, it's not going to work. I said, take off on your own, you do the job on your own. If we make a mistake, we'll learn from it. And I think that's one of the things we pride ourselves at Shields. We learn from the mistakes. I've made more than most. Patient with our people, patient with the growth philosophy. That's worked real well for us.
So you've both been in your business for 40 plus years, and what's been the biggest change in how you lead a business over the past 4 decades?
I remember when I grew up in the business, our people were called managers. And we had store managers, and we had line managers, which are buyers, and we had department managers. I remember one of the best things my dad ever said. He said, Steve, you gotta take time to close your door and just think. Think about a challenge. Think about a problem you have. Start out just doing that 30 minutes a week. You can force yourself, and soon enough you'll start to learn how this process works. And so I started to close my door for 30 minutes a week, then 30 minutes a day. And I was reading about leadership, the difference between leadership and management. We said at Shields, we manage processes, we manage inventory, but we lead people. And there were times, believe it or not, on a Sunday morning before church, some of our store leaders would come in. When these are back when our stores were in the 70s, our stores were small, they were 5,000, 8,000 square feet, and they would walk around with a tape recorder. They would order the whole store on Sunday morning by themselves, put the tape cassette in the mail, send it to our supplier. They would ship us the goods. Well, now, my goodness, we've taken that to a whole new level. Store leader hires a great leadership team with them. We've got shop managers throughout the store. Our stores are broken in about 75 different shops. Those people are responsible for the shops. We pay them based on their performance. Our whole company is big performance based as far as pay. They do a good job, make a good living. The ESOP goes up, they enjoy working for us. If they don't do a good job, it's best to find another place to work because they're not making money and we're not happy with them. So we've gone from basically the store manager running the store to leaders training people and letting them run the store. It's been our biggest change.
Anything from you, Mr. Chairman?
He said that one.
All right, good. Let's move on. Hey, I know we're 5 o'clock. Are we doing okay? Where's Greg? We're good? Okay. Here's a question that I have been meaning to ask both of you. Philanthropy has played a part in both of the stories of Shields and Bell Bank. Unique approaches to not only investing in needs in the community, but also serving on boards, whether it be for churches, colleges. You guys have both been involved in a lot of organizations. Speak to how you think about philanthropy, giving back, and working with people that need help in the community.
Well, there's no more philanthropic family and more philanthropic company than Shields. I think they deserve. So they've been a model for all of us over the years. Our signature, of course, philanthropic happening was Pay It Forward, which started 10 years ago. We're very proud of Pay It Forward, not knowing that it was going to be continuing for 10 years. We have now given $12 million. I got to get this all straight, Michael. $12 million. Julie Peterson-Klein is down here, and she liked to say, well, 12 million, 10 years, $12 million, but it's also that there's been 12,000 gifts given, $1,000 at a time by our employees who needs in the community, and our Pay It Forward program does not have to go to charity, but a lot of the dollars do, or to a church, but it can be just to a person in need, a family in need. And it's amazing how much $1,000 can mean to some people at any given time in their life. And so we're also very proud of our Pay It Forward program. We're also proud to watch what Shields do. It's just amazing how philanthropic our family's been.
Steve, any follow-up?
I would say I was lucky to grow up in a family where my mother and father were very generous and leaders in the community. And people ask me, oh, you got your name on so many things around town. Why do you do that? I said, we don't do it to put our name on things. I said, the Performing Arts School at Oak Grove with the Shields Performing Arts Center would not have been there. We would have put our name on it and give it the money. The Shields Arena would not be there. We had to give the money. The Shields Center at NDSU probably would have been there, and but we're happy to support things like that. We support Christian schools, children's museums. We have a foundation that was set up by my father, and all the stores can come to us with requests, and they have to supply 10% of the funds on their end. So in Appleton, Wisconsin, we have baseball fields, we've got soccer fields, we've got music venues, we've got performing arts schools from Great Falls, Montana, to Reno, to Springfield, Illinois, that are all sponsored by our foundation. And it's a good way to get our people in the process too as well. They have to bring us from their community, they have to bring us the request from their community. They have to fund it 10%, and we'll step up from the foundation and fund it at 90% if we feel it's a worthwhile cause. So it's a lot of fun to field those requests every month at our board meeting and call that store or call that store leader, or in some case an assistant store leader, and say, we're going to fund that. Just real rewarding.
One of the things we're pretty proud of as a company on that line, and I think it's important for anybody who's in a business, is that when we do well, we want to do good in our communities. And only profitable, well-run companies can give back. And that's, I think, it's important to think as you're getting into business is, how did you get there? Who supports you? And so that's a big part of our culture of that giving back is, the communities that supported us coming in and shopping in our stores, and we want to give back to those communities. It's a big part of who we are as a company. So I know we're getting close to the end here yet, so we're going to start asking you the tough questions now. So the first question for you is, after 40 years in the business, you now got two young guys sitting over here to your left that are starting to take over the business. What's the hardest part about stepping back and watching that transition?
Watching the mistakes you make.
We do talk about this quite a bit.
I know.
But I think we're both really just trying to guide the business, and you guys are going to do it a little different. And sometimes I just know it's easy for us to see it, do it differently. But you're both doing it really, really well, and so we're proud of you guys. But we're also proud of all the Bill Bank employees and all the Shields employees that you guys have, that work with you guys every single day, because we know that's what's making our company great. We know it's what's making the Shields company great, and we got a lot. It's a team effort. I know you have a lot more employees than we do. We have 1,200 employees now at Bell Bank. We have 800 employees with Discovery Benefits, and they work really, really, really hard. And we want to reward them with great bonuses like you guys do. And now we're really proud of our ESOP, and so you guys just keep it going. Don't change too much. So don't change everything. Don't screw it up. The other thing is, so really quickly, just a minute. Technology technology has really changed. Who would think that technology would affect the retail business, and it is affecting banking significantly, and you guys are going to have, you have challenges that we didn't have because of technology, and we're having to invest, I used to say hundreds of thousands, millions and millions of dollars. You guys are too in the area of technology. We have to keep up. We love this, people love the service they get when they come in our banks and in your stores, but they're in love with the technology, and we have to respond. And you guys are, that's going to be your problem more than it is ours.
If it's his problem, it's my problem. But anyway, I didn't hand Steve the job. I walked out of the room and said to the board, we have an internal board, all active people in our company. And I just walked out of the room and said, you got to choose our next CEO. And I think the same happened to me. My father and my uncle, my father walked out of the room and said to Chuck, my uncle, they said, you got to choose the next person to run this company. And in their cases, they chose me, and in Steve's cases, the board chose him. And we're passing 7,000 employees now in 13 states. We'll be 8,000 employees when we get Dallas and Colorado Springs, Eden Prairie open. And it's a real challenge, but it isn't just Steve's challenge. We have a tremendous board, active people in the business that we month to month, and just work on our problems. So just things are going well, and it's just when things are going well, and you're generating the cash to pay your people and think about new projects. Life is really pretty good.
Yep. Good. We get time for an audience question or two, if that's all right. Just one. One. Okay.
Thanks, Ron, for volunteering.
Oh no.
I wish that I had some warning. You guys both do a tremendous job. And your second generation is, believe it or not, they're going to do better than what you guys did. The world has changed. Do you find it really tough to accept the ideas that they come up with, or do you rationalize it and say, well, I'm not going to have to pay for it?
And Ron, real quick, you're asking for a friend, right?
Actually, I'm the one that says spend the money. He says we can't. It doesn't get a good ROI. So, no, seriously, we're just. I enjoy the track our company's on. It's never been about an ROI to me. It's about building a store that's fun for our people to work in, fun to come to work every day, whether in the corporate office or in the store. I think the future looks bright. We're going to a community a year and a half probably before we open that store, and we hire the best people in retail that we can find and bring them on board with us. And the business is really all about people. Every challenge we have is because we don't have the right person in place. Every success we have is because we have a great person in place. So our challenge is to keep creating an environment where people thrive and enjoy coming to work at Shields.
Okay, I gotta jump in.
Well, just real quickly, Steve, I want to expand on what Ron asked, and Michael and I are really on the same page when it comes to a lot of our how we view business, and we have a real simple mission statement. It's 4 words: happy employees, exclamation point, happy customers. And Mike and I both feel strongly that if our employees are happy and love going to work and work really, really hard, then it's going to show on the service they give and the success of our company. And it's worked in the past, and it's what he's going to carry forward into the future.
All right, so
to answer your question, because neither of them did. Yes, they struggle with that.
So you guys are all first timers, I think, at 1 Million Cups, and there's been over 250 people that have spoke on this stage, and we ask the same final question every single week. What can all of us do? There are 416 people in the room. This is the largest 1 Million Cups in our history. What can 416 of us do?
Wow.
This reminds me of trip to the State of the Union. A lot of clapping. So, and I'm assuming either. Okay, so what can all 416 of us do to support you and your businesses? And just, we don't want a humble answer. What can we actually do? You keep this community thriving, you keep it vital, you're supporting so many efforts. What can we do as individuals that care about our community to support your businesses and help your teams reach their full potential?
I liked Ron's answer last year, mow your lawn and eat potatoes, right? That was pretty good. I'll go first, and then we'll go down. We'll let these guys think about it. That's not good. I think, I think what we can all do to continue to make this a great place is the civility in North Dakota is so much different, no matter where you're from, what side of the aisle you sit politically, what business you're in. We all get along here. We're all running in the same direction and pulling in the same direction. I think we just got to continue to be focused on that.
I think we all know those companies in our community that are great at giving back. And I think anytime you're making that decision about a bank loan or sporting goods or potatoes or whatever it might be, we know those companies that support our community, and we should do everything we can to support those businesses.
When a community does well, we do well. And I started my wife the other day, and we thought, if you put a piece of red caution tape or yellow caution tape around every organization, every charity, every building at MSU and NDSU and such that was funded by business, the town would basically shut down for a day. So I think that when the community does well and business does well, we can support the community. And I just encourage you to, if you're not involved, get more involved, either with time or talent or finances, because when the community does well, the bank does well, and Shields does well.
Dittos to what they've all said, but I would just say we're just really proud to be a Fargo Moore and West Fargo company, and and it's our plan to be locally owned and privately owned for long.
Let's give them a round of applause. Or a family member of anybody here, if you're comfortable, could we just stand? Can we give you a round of applause? Thank you for supporting these guys.